G'day and welcome to the 73rd episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I'm Log Power Slave, and as always, I am joined by Mylan Games in the box to the lower right of me, I believe, and Deranged Real Time Sloth in the other one. Good job.
G'day.
Good job. I managed to get through that. Holy crap, what a week. It's been when you think this time last week we were getting law bombed by Oryx himself, and now we're everything that's happened this week.
We were getting derailed.
Yes.
Legitimately derailed.
Derailed in the best way possible. It was one hell of an when you think about the amount of stuff. I mean, we had like the kind of the Twitter escapade that was the other night, and everyone trying to scramble to figure out all of this stuff that's just gone completely over my head. So if you understand that, Matt, you're going to need to explain it to the rest of us, I think. But
some of it, there's even been more clues from the capture event about, and apparently only me and a French content creator had footage of the Titan weapons and armor that they needed to like solve the puzzle. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
So have you held out on everyone and no, I'm not giving it to you?
Not making a video about. No. I actually was contacted on Reddit, and I just gave people the footage. I just gave them what they needed. I said I don't have time to go through and pick them all out, but I actually during the capture event, I did two separate captures. I did one capture of the inspection of all the weapons and armor, and I did the second capture was like essentially the gameplay. So I just sent them all the inspection footage and like, go nuts, man. Just share the result.
Beautiful. So, well, where do you want to start? Do we want to just jump into it? Like, have you guys been well? I mean, I spoke to you on Thursday. Are you alive? Are we kicking? Are we doing okay? Are we dealing with? I've got to admit that I kind of wanted to go into Warmind. I'm like, no, I'm just going to take it as it comes. I'm not going to hype myself up. I'm just going to be cruisy about it, and I've completely failed because I am all aboard the good ship hype. So,
I have become. I was in exactly the same mind after just sort of what we had played, and then I've fallen into the hype machine well and truly just after preparing for this podcast and going through the notes and reading the web lore again and reading the comic book again and then reading a PlayStation article. I'm on board. Toot, get on board, guys.
Oh yeah, the hype train well and truly has no brakes. I'll guarantee you about that much.
It has left the station. It has left the station at full speed.
We'll get into this in the cast, but after the comic, after the developer videos, after the reveal stream, after the little cinematics and all that sort of thing, it's more than left the station. It is fucking 30 miles up the road on how far we've gone.
It's a bullet train.
Oh yeah,
it's a bullet train.
Oh, yeah.
I think the most telling thing was when people were coming into your stream the other night, Matt. You going, go and read it now. Just forget about watching the stream. Go and read it now. You don't need to worry about anything that's happening here. Go and read the thing. Come back and we'll talk about it.
Well, yeah, how not to grow on Twitch. Tell people to leave immediately when they come into the stream. Tell them to leave and to read something else on the internet. Yeah.
All right, well, let's just do it. Let's jump into news. Good, there we go. News. It's all happening. All right, well, look, I've got to admit, I was a bit slack this week, and I normally prepare the run sheet for this, or to varying degrees. And I've been really busy at work, so Mylan stepped up to the plate, and he's done it, and he's done 1,000 times better job than I've probably ever done. So prepare for a thorough podcast. Thorough.
Thick with information.
Thick with a C, yeah, right. Yeah. All right, well, let's jump straight in. And so this week at Bungie, we had not a whole lot of stuff we didn't already know, but let's go the things we already know about, right? Let's do that. The exotic weapon upgrades, ranked Crucible play, new Crucible maps, private matches. Now,
This is for the Warmind. This is for
this is for the
season 3.
Warmind. This is for the
Yep.
Warmind. This is coming imminently next week,
Yep.
in a few days. I think there's a couple of things there, right, that we're really getting glossed over a little bit, and like some solid quality of life changes. The emote wheel is going to be a big one, but more. And when you think about the kind of the ability to be able to make machinima and things like that, it'll actually be relatively important, because when you think about like scripting together movements and things like that, you've never really had the option. You've had one option for an emote, so it'll be interesting to see how people play with that. But probably more so, the heroic strikes and heroic strike modifiers. Now, what do you guys think of this? I think it's a great change. I think it's going to add depth to a playlist that kind of at the moment is in a really awkward spot with respect to not being particularly important and not being particularly fun. So, thoughts? What do you reckon?
I think the modifiers, as long as they're like the Nightfall modifiers, and you sort of tie risk with reward, increase the challenge, but you get better rewards, I think needs to be the basic premise. And I do think that rewards need to be more than banners and that kind of thing. So, if you're doing heroic strikes, having, specific loot tied to that strike that you want to grind and get, whether it's some weird cannon from a fallen or whatever, and, you put a modifier on and increases the chances of that dropping. That's the way that I think modifiers should go. It should be a risk versus reward. You bump up the risk, you get better rewards. I don't know what it's going to look like, because I don't think they've really spoken about how that's going to look yet. It was just like very briefly mentioned, unless it was previously
there's a bit in the 12.
spoken about.
There's a bit in the 12 about it. So I'll give you the quick rundown. So there are burns, 25% for each type. So outgoing and incoming. So, but that's pretty standard. So there are the advantage ones, which are Brawler, Grenadier, and Heavyweight. Brawler's the double punch. Is it double damage? It's double damage. So double damage and recharge rate. Grenadier is double grenades and double damage grenades and recharge rate. And Heavyweight is triple power ammo drop rate and double power weapon damage. So just be prepared to sins of your past things into oblivion with that one. Disadvantages. Now, some of these I've not seen before. Glass. Players' health and shields are halved, but recharge rates are doubled.
Cool.
Blackout. Radar is disabled, and enemies do 20 times increased melee damage. So you will be running from the thrall. Iron. Enemies no longer stagger, and health pools are increased by 50%. And grounded. Players take 5 times more damage airborne. That's pretty. We've seen that one before, but that blackout one, holy shit, that's just going to make for like fire teams progressing through back to back. Like, oh fuck, I know there's something comes out around here.
Is it just me, or they're starting to bring back the whole? So obviously, we all started playing Destiny again. Not a few weeks ago. Not any more than a few weeks ago on PC, and it seems that they've got the return to orbit, Nightfall, and all that sort of thing, which is grand. I love that. I actually love that. It makes it makes the stakes a lot higher, if that makes sense. You're not just going back to a checkpoint. You've got to start from the start. But is it just me, or is Bungie really leaning on their experience from the Halo series with these burns, i.e. skulls? If you played Halo back in the day, like Blackout and Glass, they're Halo skulls. Brawler, same. Like they are all there. This is really, really good to see. Like 5 times damage while airborne. Please, let's go. Let's go.
I'm going to get mauled. I know, because the one thing I've always struggled with, aside from just being shit at this game in general, is remembering what modifiers are on and playing appropriately. Because I kind of do just a few things, and that's really all I'm good at. So I always forget Airborne in particular. Is it Airborne, the one that ups your damage when you're in the air. I am shit at remembering that. And I like, realistically, I should be jumping around, hopping around with a shotgun or something, but I always forget. So that'll learn me. That'll finally learn me. Grounded will be how I learn.
After playing on PC, I realized on how much I mashed the spacebar like some sort of hyper rabbit, and just like hopping around. You've really got to take into account, like, when the grounded disadvantage is on or the grounded burn is on, you legitimately need to take your damn thumb off the space bar and try to remember to not jump so you don't get one shot by a thrall touching your pinky toe as you're flying over the top of him,
I think I'm just going to unmap A for when we do that. My A button will be unmapped. There will be nothing.
So, you know how I wrote the notes? I sort of wrote the notes on a different twab. So there's actually another one that I actually.
I'm closing that then.
No. Well, it's got all the stuff on.
It's good. I've read through it.
They were like a day apart. It was like the 2nd and the 3rd of May. There was a TWAB and then there was an update.
It's
so
good.
I wrote it on the update.
So
speaking of
the challenges and all that sort of thing. So, and then you've got all of the changes to the Heroic Strike playlist, but then you've got the legendary Nightfall card, which is you can take your rare challenge card, take it to Xur, and upgrade it to a legendary challenge card. As more customizations options to the card, 1 burn, 1 advantage, 1 disadvantage, and 2 additional disadvantages, with the exception of glass and all other advantages listed above. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, unique challenge card disadvantages. This is just adding more difficulty. It's not an artificial difficulty modifier. You are trying to. There's got to be something that you get out of this. But anyway, we'll get to that in a sec. So, as we were saying before, Extinguish returns a fire team to orbit with a white famine. Ammo drops reduced by 50%.
Fucking no one's ever going to pick that. No one's ever going to pick that. Ever.
Oh my. Match game, which is a Destiny 1 throwback, which is really, really good to see. Attrition, health regen is slowly. Health regen is slowed, and the enemies drop health orbs. And momentum, health regenerates only when the player is moving. That's going to be interesting. I like that.
I like that. That of all of them is probably that and the return to fight, the extinguished return to orbit would be what you'd have to put on, right? Like, anything that stops you getting ammo is an absolute pain in the ass. Juggler sucks. And anything even more complicated than that sucks, or more aggressive than that sucks. Match game you could probably cope with. Momentum you could probably cope with. But I don't know. But I mean, this is the thing. It's going to be, I'm assuming that you get the choice of these things. So, like, of all of them, I mean, there's going to be good, discussions among the fire team that are going in to do it, that are like, no, I think we should do this because this. I mean, even just among us, as much as we absolutely butchered it the other night with the Nightfall, like, let's do Sabathin's song with Void Burn on. I'll take the rap for that. I didn't really think it through. It was pretty difficult at the end, but and everyone was telling us as soon as we started, no, you've made a mistake, quit and start again. But
it's too late.
Dumb, stubborn Australians.
But I think the rewards is like something that they didn't mention the rewards, right? Like, what do you get with the modifiers in the Heroic Strikes? I can't see.
Yeah, I don't think it's mentioned anywhere yet, but someone in my community, a log in my community actually, said there's no point in doing back when we all first got back together for Destiny. There's no point in doing the legendary, the prestige raid and all that sort of thing, because you're not getting anything out of it. If you want to post a huge score and try and get on the TWAB of the week and just be like, yeah, I'm one of the top 3 fire teams in the world, they've got the best score, blah 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 blah, more power to you. But I would like to see I would like to see like specific rewards for hitting milestones. Now, we don't know. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I would like to see that. But this and just making it harder on yourselves just for that extra bit of challenge and that extra bit of oh shit clutch moment, mate. That's good. I really do enjoy that. I really do enjoy that.
I think there's a little bit of hope there because obviously this is dropping with the Warmind.
Hang on. Okay, sorry. I did oversee the read over this. We're increasing the pass scores to earn specific rewards. Emblem variants or as token bonus rewards been updated the following: 30k, 60k, 110k, 200k. Sorry, that is my bad.
That's for the Nightfall. That's for the Nightfall scores.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. Do you reckon the strikes will share the same sort of system?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
I hope
emblems, auras, tokens.
Maybe. I don't think. I think the weapon will have to be on that weekly. Like if there is a weapon or a serious item, I think it'll have to be on that weekly rotation of the Nightfall. But no, I don't know, man. I'd love to be able to go and just grind strikes and have a chance at getting some of these items that are sought after items rather than just generic stuff. I think that'd be really cool.
What would be your thought on this? Like, so a lot of people have been grinding Nightfalls to get the specific weapon ship or whatever at the end of the Nightfall, right? And, some people have done a lot of Nightfalls and they're just pretty much like speed running it and defeat the boss. Just don't worry about the points at all. Like, people getting there with 0 points. Just go through as quick as you can, defeat the boss, see if you can get the drop, right? What are your thoughts on, like, having this tiered system like 30k, 60k, and one of the highest levels is like guaranteed drop of that strike specific, 110,000.
It's got to be
drop.
Bloody hard. Like obviously a percentage base increase. So DFA for instance, or this week for the auto rifle, I can't remember what it's called this week, but if you could hit a 300,000 cap, and this is just hypothetical, but 300,000 cap for, what was the name of the DFA strike? I can't remember what it's called. It's fine, but like if you hit 300,000 cap, then you automatically got the DFA.
Yeah.
But if you don't,
to be hard, as long as it's really hard.
Chance. It would have to be so ball-bustingly difficult.
Like, well, I mean,
yeah.
I mean that would sort of be cool. Like I'm also hesitant, like, because gear is too easy to get. But I wonder whether players had the choice of like, okay, I don't have a team, so I'm not gonna be able to reach 300k in this. Like, I'm not coordinated enough to do that, but I can still just grind for RNG and just sort of breeze through them. Hopefully, I'll get it, or give players like make them stop and go through and coordinate loadouts and put on their challenge cards and get everything set up. Like, I would love to like go in with like a strategy. All right, guys, how we're going to reach 200k, 300k and get this drop. You're going in as this subclass. I'm going to take these weapons. We've got this burn on. We've got these challenge cards on. Or when we get to this part, we can run through because it's not beneficial to like kill enemies because we lose too much time. Like, I don't know. That would be pretty cool.
So
anyway, just thought.
moving forward back down through the news as well. This is a really cool idea. Like I don't buy into in-game currency and all that sort of thing, but this is actually a kind of cool idea. So each week, by what I read here in front of me, is that you've got your prismatic matrix, which is a set number of stuff or a set amount of things from the Eververse that you can earn per week. Now, it seems to be 10, and each bright engram that you get knocks one of the rewards off here. So for what I see in front of me, you've got a ship, you've got a gun skin, you've got emotes, you've got ghost skins, ships, blah, 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 blah. Like all of the things that come with Eververse. And the more you play, the more you grind, the you are able rewards. to get you will get those rewards.
Yeah,
that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
like it sort of guarantees you, like if they had like a lot like an emote that everybody wanted for some ungodly reason, the selfie emote. If it was there and there was a chance that you would get it with 10 engrams, then why not? Go out and grind the heck out of it. That's awesome. Like, I think it's a grand idea. No, sorry.
I think this is a really interesting thing. I think that system works perfectly with microtransactions because people want to know how much time they have to put in without spending money. But that system doesn't work for everything else. It's sort of like Destiny 2 made things too easy to get. Exotics were too easy to get. It was too easy to reach max power. But that sort of system should have been with the microtransactions. Hey, you put X amount of time in, you're going to get it. And then the RNG system should be fucking ridiculously tough, right? You should be able to grind for your cosmetics and know what you're going to get. And the other stuff should be like super tough, super hard to reach max level, hard to get exotics. When they drop, you should be doing your 12-year-old most insane moment. Oh my God, I got Gallahorn tear coming down your face sort of deal, right? So I think that's a perfect play. I think that's really cool. But
this is to see.
Looking at them now, I never look at Eververse ever.
Yeah, me either.
I've
just checked it off the list. I just get the free engram and fucking move on with my life. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
But cool. at least you can go, oh, what's in Eververse this week? Oh, that's pretty cool. And I'm not trying to promote it because I've pretty strong feelings about in-game currency and real money to purchase things in-game and all that sort of thing. We won't go into that. However, if you don't have the time to play the game, or you don't want to grind it, or you don't think that, like you say, like Matt's going away this next week, maybe he really, really wants something from the Eververse. He can't play, and he's just like, hey, silver, done, bang, that's it.
I've never had a problem with people spending their money on what they want to spend their money on. It's always the randomness that's pissed me off with it, where you've really got to, like, you could invest a bottomless amount of money before you got out of it. And I really love the fact that, if what you were chasing is on that list, there's a finite number of, like a finite amount of time and things like that you need to spend on it, and you know where you stand. And I think that's important in this sort of age of everyone's a bit, mistrusting of things at the moment with that sort of stuff. You look at Battlefront and everything that happened with that, and it's sort of flowed onto an industry-wide thing. I think it's definitely a positive move to be dispelling some of the mystery and the numbers around that sort of stuff.
Well,
anyway,
they've gone through, and I believe I've said this on my own cast, and I've said it on your cast as well, gents. But if they can move towards a little bit more towards Warframe, where if you want to go for something, you pay the money, you buy that. That's a great way of doing that whole paid microtransactions.
Yeah. Sort of paid.
And this is the thing too. This is like, I'm loving it. Everything is starting to come together, because one of the reasons why I didn't really care about the exotic skins is because I didn't care about the exotics. Like, I didn't use the exotics, so why would I care about the exotic skins? So, like,
good segue.
Exotics being made powerful, and you like have your favorite exotic. Yes, I want the exotic skin. Like, I want that now. And now I know, and I actually think I am more likely to spend money knowing that, because I'll put in X amount of time and like do my best to get it. But if I still didn't have enough time that week, or didn't have enough time to get that skin, I'm probably more likely to do that, to spend money, because I know there's transparency there. Like, I know it's not this like,
you're not going to spend $100 and not get it.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually think the system will work as they probably wanted it to with microtransactions.
Yeah. I'm just going to get something off my chest right now. Like, Bungie, you will not get any money from me in regards to silver, but people who want to spend the money to get the things. The fact that you, like Mylan said, the fact that you have gone and gotten rid of some of that sort of, what's behind the curtain type situation, you're going to go, all right, if you want to buy it, it's there. But if you don't want to, that's fine. You're not completely just blasting people like, it's there, buy it.
Yeah, no. I think it's like, done pretty tactfully.
If you want to buy it, go for it. It is tactful. Yes. So well done for that respect.
Matt, now, let's get back to Matt's gold tier, god tier, worm god tier level segue into the exotics that we've completely ruined, by the way. But it was so. And now that we're calling attention to it, we were nearly professional, Matt. We were nearly like, wow, we were nearly did it
once.
But I mean, we've seen a bit more of some of the exotic weapons this week. Some of the rehashed abilities. Well, not rehashed, but I don't know. It's like exotics 2.0. It's just, man. Was it? It was Thursday night. We were all on, and you're like, "Have you seen that video of Sweet Business?" And we all,
did you watch that in the end? Did you watch that?
Yeah, we've all IRL PogChamp just gone. Like it was legitimate. It was legitimate. Like that, the Risk Runner, the Crimson. Like I had never seen the Crimson before. I didn't even know the gun existed. But God damn,
Mr. Dino Game said, "Still firing."
It's still firing. He's got the weapon rested up on a chair or something.
It's still that. I shared the video of that. You know that scene in Predator. With the minigun. It is that. It is someone somewhere has just gone, you know what we need? We need this scene from Predator, but we need it with Sweet Business. And just,
some say the Sweet Business is still firing and
old Painless is still just tearing down trees, baby. Go.
Right. But the changes to the exotics, in my eyes, they are so damn welcome. Make exotics feel exotic is just, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I don't know. Like it's just incredible, and I
you know what I think?
If they live up to the hype, my goodness.
It's go on, log.
No, I was just gonna just while I'm thinking of it, right. The thing that I want to point out right now is that they haven't done that much. They were so fucking close to begin with, right? Like, yeah, fair enough, they've amped it up a little bit, but finding a level for that sort of thing without having the guns out in the real open world, like, I can imagine that it's a very difficult thing. So, you know, the weapons team and all of that sort of stuff, the weapons in premise, you know, they haven't had to do that much to them to make them go from like, I don't really care, to I want that and I never want to put it down ever again. You know, like Sweet Business is a gun. Like it functions that way in the raid. You know, you've got when you've got the little void wall, your little Titan wall in front of it, and you just wail on Callus at the end. You know, that was the strategy of just, line him up. Now that you can do that elsewhere, I just like that's what I mean. It's just really they were that close anyway, and I think people will forget that. But
I'm just imagining 6 Guardians of Sweet Business and they just morph into an Apache helicopter.
Just a ball of constantly firing bullets rolling around the goddamn, like rolling around the raid. It's just like,
just a cabal, one of the cabal balls with little holes in it, just
Could one of you very talented graphic artists out there come up with a cabal with a whole bunch of Guardians sticking Sweet Businesses out of it, just like 300 with the spears at the very end and just rolling around the maps? That would be aces. Oh my god, it's going to be really, really awesome. And
the main reason that was brought up again in one of the posts is, regardless of Warmind ownership, you're gonna get these. This is across the board. Like, you don't have to own Warmind. So if you're still on the fence and you want to see what's happening in the patch, you don't have to. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it's obvious. Like they can't have, some people have exotics that don't function as exotics, and some people that do. But I think there is some more transparency on what you get with the Warmind, and that was one of the things that they mentioned in the notes.
That is really welcome as well. Like, all jokes aside, that is really welcome. Transparency from a company, like especially a game developer, as Bungie, and then their higher ups, whether it be Bungie higher ups or Activision, the fact that they've actually gone out and said, we effed up.
Yeah,
We effed up. We are trying to make it right with you guys. Please give us, like with the summit, please give us the time of day to help us fix our IP for the community. You know.
So there was a thing on private maps, and I sort of put this in question marks. So
private maps or private matches?
Well, both. So the new maps in private matches. So they said you will need to purchase the expansion to use the new Warmind maps in private matches. Yeah. However, I think everyone gets the new Crucible map. So as long as you're not a private match,
that was my understanding of it. They don't want to dilute. They don't want to dilute the player pool.
Yeah.
You know, hey, maybe that's what some people, you know, that might be the thing that ticks them over. This map's really cool. I want to play friggin' Tractor Cannon Fest on it with my friends. I'll buy the DLC. Who knows?
Tractor Cannon is getting, like, so they had the developer
suppressed.
Like, I played a little bit of Tractor Cannon just to, like, on stream, just a little bit of fun. And do you know what? Like, it was such an overlooked weapon. It's actually a lot of fun already. It's going to be uber fun with suppression. Like,
speaking about it last week, it's so trolly. It's just going to be.
It's so trolly, man.
I want to see a PvP mode, just a limited time mode of people who just have tractor cannons, and just the only way that you can get kills is to launch people into walls and just. That's it. Like, I would love that. I know it's not something that can happen because
you just make a private match slot on stream, and
you say it's not something that can happen. It's the first thing that's going to happen on release of this DLC.
Entry requires tractor cannon. Let's do a private Crucible match.
Pretty much.
That will be so funny.
You know what? I'll call it right now. Next weekend, the weekend after Warmind drops, I will be playing nothing but private matches with tractor cannons on the Saturday night. It's, just turn up, free for all. It's going to be a mess. Let's get into it. And Sheik, he's going to definitely. There's going to be
Destiny Fun Police.
Destiny Fun Police will just be owning that, and it will.
Just to go into the patch notes review, like from the TWAB, I know you've got some notes on this, Matt, and all that sort of thing. As a short-term solution, now these are Bungie's words. These are Bungie's words, not ours. In a short-term solution, vault space is being increased from 200 to 300 items. Again, I think all of us, like the three of us, we took at least ranging from a month to 3 months to 4 months break from Destiny, so I don't have anywhere near a full vault on any of the platforms. But for people who have been playing constantly, that's a pretty welcome change. I don't know, like the words of a short-term solution, where they get short-term solution from, but
I think what that sort of pertains to, Slothy, is that they'll look to institute things like kiosks that will ultimately be where most of your stuff lives. Like your shaders and whatnot. And like this is, I don't think they're going to be like, okay, it's a short-term solution. You get 300, but in 2 months we're going to cull it back to 200. I think it's just like, okay, right now we don't have that in place. We're going to expand vault space, but down the line we are looking to do this. Now, my big question is, why aren't they expanding the postmaster? Because frankly, I know one member of this podcast that desperately needs a bigger postmaster. And every time I watch him stream, I'm disgusted. Every time he goes
tearing
to
out
the tower.
Your facial hair. Oh my god! I want to go over there and I want to delete everything out of your stash because you're a hoarder.
I'm going to tweet. I'm going to tweet Bungie. I'm going to tweet Bungie, and I'm going to ask them just to delete everything in your postmaster because you don't deserve it, Matthew. You've not even looked at
it. I'm in the position where it's like this forever loop because I'm getting back into, really playing it, and I'm not too sure what's good and what's not good and what I should keep and what I should not keep. So I'm in this constant, it might be good, which you reinforce log on stream. You're like, ooh, but it might It might be with Matt. And then I'm like, okay, I won't delete it then.
I did that I knew that you were like you had the finger poised on the dismantle button. You were ready to go, and I thought, but there's an update next week. It might get really good.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, I'm just, I don't have that problem. I just pull shit apart. If I miss out, I miss out. I'll probably like dismantled every good gun in the game at least once before I've twigged onto the fact that it's good, and then I've got to go and get it again. So maybe that's why RNG hates me, but it was fun to fuck around with, mate.
Did we cover this real quick? The entire emote collection is now available to you for convenience swapping. So once you unlock an emote, it is constantly in your inventory at all times.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, I think sweet baby Jesus.
So that's out of the vault. I don't know how much. I'm not sure how many emotes there are in Destiny 2, but that's always a plus. Like, to get rid of that out of the vault. Like, everyone's going to go for the memey ones, like the salty one and this, that, and the other. But, more power to them. I think that's a grand idea and really well done in that respect.
Are we allowed Are we allowed to go back to the Monty Python Ministry of Silly Walks? Because, like, remember that weekend when that was the thing that you could use to glitch through walls?
You glitch into
and it was like the only cool emote that I had, and then I was getting some very mean-spirited messages from people. So I decided, no, I'll just go back to the default one. Thank you very much. Is it cool to use that now?
Just use it again. Just use it again.
I don't know. I mean, I love this community, but Jesus Christ.
There are some people. There are some people. There are some people.
Anyway, moving on.
Should we move on to the all the different videos that have come through?
Oh my Lord! Please, let's go.
Let's go.
So there are at least 3 videos. 2 are on Twitter and 1 developer insight not the TWAB, whatever I read, the update.
And the other thing.
The other thing I read. So that was with Kevin Yanes and Josh Hamrick. It was pretty much tractor cannon hype, ranked PvP hype, and private matches hype. And, it's cool to hear the designers, Kevin's really excited to give people private matches back and to see what the community does with it. And specifically mentioning tournaments, like, it's cool. They're like, we want to see tournaments. We want to see you guys take this tool and own it and go do exciting stuff with PvP. And I think making silly exotics and doing that kind of stuff, like, there's going to be serious tournaments, but I feel like, guys, there's a gap in the market for, like, funny tournaments. I feel like there's a gap in the market for, like...
I reckon we could fill this gap, Matt. I reckon we could fill this gap with Tractor Cannon Fest 2018.
Yeah. Right, so that's cool. Twitter had a couple of videos. So one was, once again, a developer insight with Brent Gibson, creative director, and also Evan, oh my God, can't speak.
Even.
You need one of these, mate.
Sorry, Evan. We apologize.
Even design director as well. So there was one thing I spotted in there, which there was Nokris. Okay, it was definitely Nokris from the images we've seen, but it had like a strike symbol. So I was like, "Oh, please don't be a strike." But I've still got hope. I hope he's not the one and done in a strike. I hope he continues.
Yeah,
but it did. This one frame looked like.
Well,
pretty serious.
Nokris may only be there in corporeal form, but once it gets destroyed, goes back to its throne world.
Yeah, and there could be something like that.
Yeah,
could be
and that's I think what Matt's meaning is just that, as we spoke about it last week, we don't want to see the characters just come in and exit quickly, especially when they've kind of got that. Like, Nokris has this, like, especially after now seeing the visual direction that they've taken with him. It's kind of this, like, I don't know. There's a menace there. I like it. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. And like this sort of outcast hive. Like,
Yeah.
We'll get to a little bit of lore. We'll go through the web lore, guys. We'll go through the comic book as well. I've got a fair few notes on that. We'll get to a bit more about Nokris a bit later.
Brent Gibson and the team at Vicarious Vision, the PC port of this game is fucking incredible. And I'm not just swearing to be a bogan there. It is fucking incredible. And if you haven't played it on PC, I'm not like Sloth will tell you I am the last person in the world to go PC Master Race, but seriously, the game is silk on PC, and it is streets. It is chalk and cheese.
It feels
if they bring
different.
anywhere near that level of polish to this expansion through being involved in it, I am just that. I didn't realise they were working on it. Maybe that's just me being naive and a bit shit at keeping up with news, which is worrying when you host a podcast. But at the same time, and then watching that video, I'm like, okay. So them and their desire to bring back the boss fight, I am wholly and solely on board.
That was one of the Brent Gibson I mentioned before is from Vicarious Visions, and their little basically saying, yeah, Vicarious Visions, we wanted a big boss fight, and that's obviously what's hinted at in the trailer. There looks to be what is implied to be a worm god. There has been some very, very heated lore. If you want to see lore people,
if you want to see Mylan Games get triggered, go to his stream.
Are you talking about that chat that we're in? Have you scrolled back up through that?
The chat we've got that I created before I went to Bungie to get all the lore, creators' feedback. We go to, because it's most of them in the US, we go to bed and wake up to 600 messages or something ridiculous, which is this back and forth discussion about X new lore. Which is really cool to see.
I've learnt more out of that chat than I have out of probably. I'm not going to say your channel in its entirety, but it's getting there.
There's a lot of learning in that chat. I'll give you that. There's a lot of learning.
But Anon's just schooling me by proxy, so it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. We had this conversation about what were they going to do with Rasputin, and they spoke we needed a formidable foe. We needed a boss. Enter Worm God. Enter Nokris. So it's obvious that although we've got two plot lines essentially competing with each other. We've got one which is following Anna Bray, discovering Rasputin, the Warmind. But we've also got Zol, and these seem really separate. After reading through the web lore and the comic book again, they are very integrated. I am quite confident in how cohesive they've brought together Worm God's hive with Rasputin. From what I've been reading, it makes sense, which is really cool.
Is it just me? Is it just me, or I know not to hang shit on the writing team for COO, but from what I can tell, and we'll be able to tell a little bit more of this come 3 a.m. or 1 a.m. for you, Matt, but 3 a.m. for Log and I on Wednesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Does it not feel like there is two different writing teams for Curse of Osiris, completely different people that they've got for Curse of Osiris and Warmind?
I have to look. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think it is. I think you can check all the people involved at the end of the comic book. I think I 100% get what you're saying. When I read the lore, the web lore and the comic, it feels like the web lore, for example, when you read each entry, their tone matches a character all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's in Rasputin's stuff. You read the Nokris, it is in the Books of Sorrow tone. You read Zavala, it's in Zavala's stoic tone. You read Tyra Khan, and she's going on about there's this match now between what's being said and who's saying it that wasn't really obvious in Curse of Osiris. And not only that not only there's this nice match now between what the character's saying, but it links back and acknowledges so much stuff in Destiny 1. And people in general are very happy that all these things that we've been speaking about in Destiny 1, or Grimoire cards specifically, are being acknowledged and not ignored, and actually brought up as well.
It seems they're retconning the retcon in regards to law, which is like I know that's a joke at the moment in regards to the law community, but it seems that they've gone from the whole retconning law, and it's now just wife tales and legend and all that sort of thing, and they've sort of it looks being the operative word. They've gone from taking that and just going, nah, done with it. It pissed off so many people. Let's just keep it as it was with D1.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I haven't looked and I haven't checked, so I'm just purely shooting from the hip here, but I have complete faith that even if it is exactly the same writing team, the most important thing is, you know, like they've learned lessons from it. And like looking back on Curse of Osiris, it kind of, the whole thing kind of didn't really have that cohesive tone that it's had in the past. Like it didn't all feel like it was moving in the same direction, where this and the way it's been released, and even to an extent Chris Barrett's Twitter like thing from the other week, it all has this kind of tone of like, you know, Rasputin is to an extent unknowable, you know, it's all this sort of like detailed high level information that takes work to pull apart, and this I think it's all sort of, I mean, Rasputin as a character is pretty well developed too. You know, there's a lot of backstory there. So
he's mysterious, but he is well developed.
Yeah, and like this, I honestly think that there's been a lot of conversation around tone and around the centerpiece of like respecting the law and doing that kind of thing. And Warmind definitely feels like it's done that already. We'll have to obviously see how it translates into the game itself, but the beginnings of it is, you know, it's like Rise of Iron. It's like the stuff we got with Owl Sector and Rise of Iron, ARG, and like it is really going back to that kind of feeling. And I think there's been a lot of effort put into the tone. I think there's a lot of effort put into the cohesiveness. Everything seems like it matches together now. Everything is like complementing each other, and we're getting back to that mysterious puzzle piece factor. And that is why the law community is like, the heated debates that are happening is because people are like, oh, but it says this in this line, and this means this. Oh, but it said this in the books, and this means this.
But
and
that's
if you want to see me triggered, watch my latest Twitch stream. I have not been triggered.
Oh my god! Oh, I triggered the F out of you, and it's funny, and I was losing my cool. I was losing. But the thing that really gets me, about the story and the cohesiveness, and it's really things that that Matt and Log and I are going to harp on over the coming months since the Bungie Summit, is that I played through the Curse of Osiris DLC on PC yesterday. And every time I heard Brother Vance talk or Sagira and Osiris talk, it was a visible cringe. It was a visible cringe because it was the tone was so out of place. It was like an out of tune xylophone. Like it was just plink plonk, plink plonk. Like it was all over the shop. It's just I would love to see, like, I know Warmind isn't going to be perfect. It's not going to be the TTK. It's not going to revamp the game to 100% like what TTK did for D1. However, everything that they are saying is a huge step in the right direction. It is a huge step in the right direction, and I have hope that Bungie and the creative team, the game director team, and all that sort of thing are just really working hard on it.
But I mean, think about it from this context, Soth. It's not even just what they're saying; it's what they're showing us too. Like right now, we've got everyone's like, "Oh, exotic weapons, they're not interesting enough." Guess what? Now we sit here week in, week out and froth over the guns that we're going to get our hands on in just under a week.
Some say the sweet business is still firing.
And then looking at the law, looking at that sort of stuff on that front as well, you know, this is positive moves, you know, like positive changes are afoot. And golden segue, we've had the Warmind comic come out this week. And it's been a huge deal. Like honestly, I think it's reaffirmed a lot of people's perspectives.
The only thing I want to say, let me just quickly mention this other Twitter video with the Bungie developer inside, and then we'll move on to the comic. But the only reason I want to mention this is this has really got me excited about escalation protocol. So this Twitter video number 2, I'm calling it, with Jacob and Ben, both design leads, had pretty much how challenging escalation protocol is going to be. And they also showed that this wasn't entirely obvious, and I didn't notice even though it happened to me at the capture event. So you activate escalation protocol and you're doing the challenge for that, right? In the top left-hand corner, it tells you what to do. It's like defeat wave of enemy within X time, and then a boss comes out and you progress to the next level, or activate portal and boss comes out. Like, so you sort of have that in the top left-hand corner. What it looked like and what they were talking about is escalation protocol occurs within the public event bubble. And if a public event happens to happen at the same time that you're doing escalation protocol, it actually modifies escalation protocol. So when that happened, that top left thing changed and then said, withstand the onslaught of Hive, complete the heroic event, and defeat every boss. So the public event modified escalation protocol from what I could see in that video.
It seems to be a living. It seems the event seems to be living in the world.
Yeah,
it seems to be living in the world now. The way that I actually would explain that in terms that I would understand, if someone said that to me, I'd be like, the world changes and the event goes with it.
Yeah,
that is that.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, escalation protocol is going to be hard, and I am imagining people grinding and getting so close, and a freaking public event, a warsat drops in and fucks up your day. Like, there'll probably be some funny moments on that.
Grab the Valkyrie! I can't grab the Valkyrie! Oh God!
Oh no! It's all gone to shit.
God. No, it does look very, very awesome.
And so,
go on. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
I'll just finish this. This is the last thing on that. The developer said the mantra was, if we can beat this, it's probably still too easy. And then PlayStation article had an interview. There was a PlayStation article that sort of expanded upon it, and I think this is probably the best thing to expect in regards to challenge. So a team of 3 at max gear level. Basically, this is sort of the comment. Second, we deliberately tuned escalation protocol to be achievable by the most prepared and coordinated max level 3-person fire teams for the Warmind expansion. Taking on this event with only 3 people is harrowing, but not impossible. So if you are 3 maxed level Guardians who are coordinating your gear, your loadouts, it's not impossible, but it's still going to be tough.
That is a word I love to be associated with anything I do for a recreational activity. Harrowing.
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 Was it? Hang on. Let's just look into the personal life of Log here. Was it harrowing going to your daughter's netball game this morning?
No, it was good. It was good fun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped a bit of my bacon and egg roll, and that was pretty harrowing.
Oh my God, the bacon and egg roll. Jeez.
I know. Yeah.
I'm harrowed. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, I'm really looking forward to being max level and going in with 3 people and putting down strats, and then getting to the next level, and then realizing what that next level boss is, and then going, frick, how do we deal with that? Okay, next plan. Then going back in again, getting level 1 done, getting level 2 done. All right, now we've got level 3 boss. How do we deal with that? Okay, let's formulate a plan. And it's sort of steamrolling until you've got strategies. And they sort of mentioned that escalation protocol is meant to be a blend of Court of Oryx in regards to mechanics and bosses, and Prison of Elders in regards to wave enemies, right? Completing waves. So expect there to be, not like puzzles, but expect there to be mechanics involved and not just waves, but there's sort of this combination of both.
Good. I really would like to see, like, obviously, with the Warmind DLC comes a new part of the Raid Lair Tower of Stars. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Sorry.
And it gives you the option to play something other than the raid for endgame PvE,
Yes.
which is Spire of Stars. Thank you, Hipster Deadpool, in the Twitch chat.
Is that what you were talking about? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
No. You're good.
But it's like I would have helped.
You've got the raid lair or the raid or whatever to get that challenge, that meaty challenge to hook your teeth into and really sink your teeth into it. Or you can do the escalation protocol. It seems good.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it.
I think the best comment in chat is Marlon's excited now, but will get heavily triggered during it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, you need punishment. I really like the direction of, like, make players work for rewards. If you can't do it, if you can't coordinate, because when you're challenged, it forces you to explore with different combinations. If things are too easy, you don't need to change your subclasses. You don't need to change your gear. You don't need to make sure you're maxed on recovery or maxed on it doesn't encourage you to build a character. When things are like super challenging, it's like, okay, I need to get a max level, firstly. So there's a bit of a carrot, like, I want to get a max level. And secondly, it's like, okay, I really need to start thinking about my builds and, like, how I use my weapons with my builds. How am I going
how you've modded your weapons, how you've modded your armor, who is in your team, how they're going to play, how you're going to complement their game style, and vice versa, which is more, as far as I'm concerned, if they do it right, that'll be more than a raid. That'll be more than a raid lair. That'll be more than a raid in itself. So that's always a plus. And, like, just thinking now, okay, so tractor cannon's going to have a debuff, okay? I've played Escalation Protocol, and the ogres are freaking tough, man. Every time you get close to them, they'll do, like, a ground AoE, and it'll push you back or kill you if you're underleveled. Imagine if you want to get that debuff, you have an Invis Hunter walk straight up, avoiding that, and they can get off a tractor cannon shot, and then you can do your DPS round. Like, and if you can get that shotgun, I can't remember what the name of it is now, but the shotgun one. Yeah, the thing with the melee, and then the Archelios something. Yeah. But you get the melee, and then you just go, like, it's a last word shotgun, more or less, like bang, 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 bang. And then
it's so good.
Get on with it.
So good.
It's good. It's good. It feels good. It feels good. It sounds good. It's a step in the right direction. It's not going to be the TTK-esque type situation, but it's going to. I believe it's going to improve the game.
Oh yeah, I'm yeah. It really does look. Look, I'm. Well, yeah, I don't know if I've just fallen for all the hype. I mean, this happens every time. But I am. I'm just excited for it. I am.
Look, I'm sitting here. I'm talking to you guys about Destiny. We've got people talking in the chat about Destiny. We've all been playing Destiny this week. We've all been talking about it. I've got the Warmind DLC background on my PC right now. It's okay.
Just go with it. Just go with it.
It's okay to be hyped.
Is that serious? Is that serious? A murder of ogres? That is
that is the most metal thing ever.
I'll pay it. From now on, it is a murder of ogres. A group of everything else, but a murder of ogres.
You know what's going to be really shitty for me? I actually feel like I'm just having a look at the storage requirements for Destiny 2, and I think the expansion, and I'm going to be traveling, and I don't think I'm going to be able to download 20 gigs or whatever it is to. I can't quite work out.
That's a good point. Have they organised, or is there any information for preload?
Yeah, no. So this is what they released was 7 a.m. Pacific. Players still in Destiny 2 activities will return to the title screen. Destiny 2 Warmind and Update 1.2.0 will be available to download and install. And this is on the 8th of May. So it sounds like you can't preload it?
Well,
It sounds like you can't.
Yeah, but it's changes to the live game state. There's going to have to be a separation and restart.
Yeah,
So
it really does.
Get it on the day. And I don't... the storage requirements says this. So the Destiny file size for PlayStation 4 is 53 gig. Then it says storage space needed for download 71 gig. But I don't know if that's... Oh, Destiny 2 including all updates. It doesn't actually say how big...
How big the download is for the...
So if I'm in another
game,
country, I'm going to have like a really big bill for it. I don't know if I really
Can't
want
you just go to
Walmart
like
to
European
like $300.
McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi or something?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping they got quick Wi-Fi and I can download it there.
Listen, Matt, we'll organise. We'll start a GoFundMe for your $1,000 Telstra bill, okay?
Go for
Matt
it.
downloads an
it seems-
entire DLC on fucking roaming data.
$3,000 later.
Be the most
roaming data?
expensive
It's like
download of all time.
$10 per megabyte or something like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's okay. It's only 1.4 million. They're going to have to do GuardianCon next year just so you can pay it back. GuardianCon, pay back this poor idiot's fucking phone bill.
But seriously, if anyone lives in Rotterdam and they want to host me for a week, please let me know.
So you can just download off someone there. Fair enough. Fair enough. Good job.
Yeah, keep an eye out for exact preload times, ladies and gentlemen. Like when I say exact, I mean confirmed by Bungie, exact times, exact places.
Well, I think
That's it.
7
That's it. It's 7 a.m. on the 8th.
a.m. Pacific on the 8th of May.
That's it.
All right, well, keep an eye on your consoles and your Blizzard applications, guys. When it goes live, get that shit downloading. Get that shit downloading.
Yeah.
I will be up. I'll be awake anyway, but I'll be up downloading that stuff. So yeah, make sure you get onto it, dudes. Make sure you get onto it. If you're in Australia, borrow someone's net. For goodness sake, get on it.
Remember, just don't get upset. It's okay if you start half an hour after everyone else. Just chill.
Just
it's
relax.
okay. It's just fucking relax.
Do you know the best thing I did for Curse of Osiris? I've always like rushed to get content out and it just ruins the experience. And I just thought, fuck it. I'm not making any content today. I'm just going to enjoy Curse of Osiris when it came out. I invited my brother over. We had the office set up with 2 computers and we just, played Curse of Osiris and it was just casual and fun. And I think, there's always this big race to get stuff and people want to gear up for the raid lair and all that kind of stuff, but it does ruin the experience sometimes. And I think Warmind's going to have a good story, so take it slow.
I think a lot of people, especially on the PvE raid lair side, they want to make sure they want to be the first to get the escalation protocol done at top tier. They want to be the first to get the raid lair done at top tier. They want to be the first to do the prestige first raid lair. And that's fine. Have a goal. But yeah, it seems that the story has been significantly
Pumped up. Let's just call it pumped up.
Yeah, pumped up, for lack of a better term. It's been pumped up. Like, please enjoy it. It seems like the story has been pumped up. Please enjoy it. Please enjoy it. Don't rush through the damn thing. You've got time. It's not going anywhere. The Warmind lore is, if you've never read the lore before, first of all, go to Mylan's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mylan Games. Pluggo.
Wow. How much did he pay you for that, just offhand?
Nothing.
Free. Oh.
He's giving me an Escape from Tarkov factory key. No, it's and the Warmind lore and the Hive lore is probably some of the best lore in the game.
Speaking of
without
lore.
it.
Speaking of lore.
Hey, there we go. Right, another gold tier. Excellent segue.
Yeah. The way to ruin gold tier segues is saying
is to draw attention to them. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm learning, Matt. Got to walk before you can crawl.
Yeah. So I have written some summaries.
Go for it. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll be right back. I've read it all, so it's good. I'll know when I come back.
On the web lore. and also the comic book. So if you have not read it and would like to experience it for yourself, spoilers inbound. If you don't want to read it and would like a summary, settle in, grab yourself a beer, popcorn, beverage of choice, and we'll get into this. So there was a weblore on Tyra Khan, poor old Cryptarch over at the farm. A new character was introduced called Kieran. We don't know much more than that. However, Kieran recovered data catch from Freehold in Clovis Bray facility in Freehold.
Kieran or Cameron?
No, there's Carmen. There's Cameron and there's Kieran. This is a different one.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. Please continue.
They also talked about a new Cryptarch revealed, and I assume it's a Cryptarch because they have the title of Master. So Master Melivander, who has been working on Clovis Bray information. We don't know much more than that, apart from them finding and decrypting a whole bunch of data from Clovis Bray. However, the Tyra Khan sort of weblore reinforces that there was this front to Clovis Bray, and that the front was the warming weathered technology. So if you remember to my last video, I talked about the lore tabs, and all the lore tabs, like my initial reaction was like, these are a bit bland. They're all talking about like making like technology to deal with the cold, right? And that is sort of hinted at as being like a front. Do you know, like this is like a laundromat smuggling your money through. Like their front was like, hey, we're developing technology to keep you warm. And they also ran AI-led tours. But the hint is that like this is just a front for Clovis Bray, and there was something else going on at this facility. A really big topic that was also mentioned was Charlemagne being confirmed as a sub-mind. Personally, I'm really glad that they addressed Charlemagne. They revealed information about Charlemagne. Charlemagne's been like a topic since Destiny 1, since pre-writing. Mention of Charlemagne's evolved. Mentioned once in Destiny 1 in the Sleeper Simulant questline. Two sides of the coin. Some people are pretty angry that Charlemagne is not a Warmind and it's just a sub-mind. I'm fine with it. I think I'm completely and utterly fine with Charlemagne being a sub-mind. And I spoke a bit about this on stream. Like, I don't feel like Bungie had a commitment to cover Charlemagne, which was like essentially a deleted script. Do you know?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think like from most people's perspective, it's just like, oh, but what about Charlemagne's Vault and all that sort of stuff? I mean,
it was never in the game. It was
never a thing.
It was hinted at in the exotic quest line for Sleeper Simulant, and you know, I don't think there needs to be a commitment to like I think this is like, you know, expectations of the community maybe clashing with what Bungie put out, and I think it's firstly fantastic that they acknowledged it, and they gave some almost conclusion to that mystery, so people don't keep wondering and then, you know, let down in the future. So I'm personally fine with it. I have heard, you know, other people that are upset it's not a Warmind and it's a sub-mind instead, but I think it's good that they at least acknowledged Charlemagne. So that's a really big thing. The next one was one that involves the worm gods and a apocrypha, which is a biblical or related writings not forming part of an accepted canon or scripture. And this is the one that references Nokris. We're told about the 5 worm gods, which we know from the Books of Sorrow. Yal, the worm god, made a bargain with Oryx on the fundament, which we also know. Oryx slew Akka, and from that he got the power to take through the Tablets of Ruin, and we also knew that through the Books of Sorrow. The worm gods are described as having scales and wings, which was mentioned in the Books of Sorrow too. I think it's in the Books of Sorrow. I'm pretty sure it's the Books of Sorrow. So it's brought up the conversation about Ahamkara, dragons, and worm gods again. I do think they're different. I've got a video doing a comparison on that from a very long time ago, but still pretty relevant. But never know. Wings and scales obviously have that feel of dragon. I think they're different, but we might have to wait to find out.
Well, I mean, if they are, then what the bloody hell's the thing in the clip?
That's it. That's it. So that's the thing. Like maybe that's not a worm god. Well, or maybe we haven't seen the wings yet. I don't know.
Maybe it's a clover spray experiment gone wrong as well.
Yeah, it could be something different. It could be something. Yeah, exactly. I think that that developer insight is probably edited to be quite tricky. I think. I think that. I mean, that was obviously very intentional. It could be a red herring on their behalf.
It could very well be a red herring, but this is the beautiful thing about law in D1 is that there are a lot of red herrings, and the law community and to a lesser extent the general Bungie community, Destiny community rather, they can go, oh shit, I mean, what does this mean? What does it mean? What do the numbers mean, Mason? You know, like it's really really good in that respect.
Yeah. And that's why it sparked a lot of conversation already. And I love how the conversations have gone past just the lore nerds. You know, you go into anyone streaming Destiny 2 and they already know about Nokris and the Worm Gods. And they know that that's important and significant. And they're interested in it. They want to know more about it.
To one degree or another, yeah, 100%. That's absolutely. It's again, this is the thing that I myself personally have sort of carried on with over the last couple of months. It's a step in the right direction because Bungie, I'm not gonna cast any sort of, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You damn messed up with the release of D2. You messed up.
I think they know that. And anyway,
yeah,
I think they know that. Like I'm not going to put any more shit on them, but like they messed up. Like they are people. People make mistakes, but they're making small steps over time to correct it because game development, from what I've been told, is very difficult.
I'm sure it is. I mean, bringing it back to them, you know, they wouldn't be deliberately misleading in a video, would they? Like, it's not like.
But I know again, it feels like that tongue in cheek is a little bit back with the Destiny community and Bungie, and you know that was really prevalent when there was this really good, you know, relationship, and you know it is with the summer and that relationship reforming. It's nice to see, you know, that tongue-in-cheek coming back with hinting at stuff and people getting excited again about the stories that are going to be told. So,
including the Rickrolling that happened, the greatest Twitter Rickrolling.
Christopher Barrett's Rickroll.
Oh well, I have that picture as my wallpaper on my phone.
You have it as your wallpaper on your phone?
Yeah, just so every time I look at my phone, I'm reminded that, you know, sometimes it is completely fine just to be a obstinate shit and a pain in the ass and to take the piss. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, never lose your sense of humour.
We can appreciate that here on the cast. The three of us can appreciate being absolute trolley shits. I mean, I was triggering Wyland the other night and it was funny. I was laughing my ass off. I've got the VOD. He saved the VOD. I've got a few clips of it. It's good. It's really good to see that they've actually got some sense of humor, and namely a certain individual has some sense of humor in regards to all of this. It puts a smile back on people's faces.
Yeah, it actually did a lot. I think it did a lot for continuing to mend relationships with the community.
Sorry, Matt.
Back to the lore. So interesting thing about Nokris, which has been another very heated debate everywhere, was, is he a wizard? Is he a she? Is she a he? Interestingly, in the web lore, he's referred to, or she's referred to as it. Doesn't use the word he or she, and refers to Nokris as a child, like the child of Oryx, the forgotten child. So it doesn't give a gender. I think this could almost be a whole lore video, but genders in the Hive are a bit weird and work differently. Like in the Books of Sorrow, they change gender, and Oryx and the Hive anatomy, there's a passage that talks about that they can have a mate but don't need a mate, so they potentially can reproduce without a mate. I need to sort of go back and look at that, but I guess the main thing is I wouldn't get caught up on genders for the hype. Just let that.
Yeah, it's like Jurassic Park, man. Life finds a way. Just fucking go with it.
Life finds a way, man. Just go with it, right? So the main thing is from this is Nokris was abandoned. We don't know why he was abandoned from Oryx, and teamed up with Zol, another worm god. Zol gave Nokris some power, and Zol took Nokris's heart. Now, we don't really know the implications of that, but what I instantly think about is how we took the heart of Oryx to make the Touch of Malice, the dark heart of Oryx. I haven't really looked further than that to see connections, but it's pretty specific to take Nokris's heart. I don't know if that's literal or metaphoric or what yet, but
could be a love story. Could be a metaphor. It could be like Romeo and Juliet.
Took his heart.
Zol and Nokris forever together.
The main thing about Nokris is there's hints at, so Oryx created the tribute system, which, you know, you kill and you pass the energy from killing up the food chain. So like Thrall kill and they take enough energy from killing to feed themselves, to feed their own worm, and then they pass any like leftover energy up to acolytes. Acolytes take what they need and they pass it up.
Yeah.
And there some enemies can advance through that system by killing more and becoming more powerful.
It's the space version of the Hillsong Church. It's a pyramid scheme. Anyway, moving on. Let's not get into that.
Yes. Nokris is part of the pyramid scheme for Zol. Now, Zol is at the top of the pyramid. Okay, so that it's a pyramid scheme. That's a good way to describe it. And then it ends with 5 became 3, as in 5 worm gods became 3 worm gods. This is either in reference to Zol and Nokris teaming up and killing one of the other worm gods, or it's in reference to them leaving the area because basically Zol was concerned the other worm gods were going to turn on him, and so they sort of say, let's go start a new world elsewhere with Nokris's help. So either Zol fought back and killed another worm god, or he went elsewhere, and that's why it says 5 became 3. Once again, a nice little mystery puzzle. It's not exactly obvious what it means yet. And then finally, sorry, I'm talking so much, guys. Finally, the way it ends is I, the child, become herald of death, record these words. They are not of the sorrow, they are mine, which essentially is saying, these are not my word. This is not the word of my father, basically.
Yeah, they're not part of the books of sorrow. They're his own path.
Yeah. Really nice way to end that card. Like, really, really nice way to end that.
Nokris is a teenager out on his I'm my own man or woman or whatever.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm my own thing.
I'm my own entity.
I'm my own it.
A whole new world.
Oh god, I'm not going to open. Hang on, you know what? I'm going to put the chat on the screen so that anyone watching this later can see it for posterity. We're now shipping Zol and Nokris as Disney couples. So we've got Aladdin and Jasmine. I think we've seen Romeo and Juliet. So you know, if you've got any other couples that you think that would tie in with Zol and Nokris, go for it. Yeah.
Are you guys happy for this excruciatingly painful level of detail, or do you want me to
go into detail?
It's like everything you do, excruciatingly painful. Go for it. Hey,
Okay.
just look. He's overlooked the most obvious Disney one. Like literally, worms come from the deep. The Little Mermaid, right? They had to make a deal to be together. You know, come on, try harder.
So
Sloth's just having an aneurysm.
there was web law.
Oh my fucking god!
On Master Raoul, who isn't it funny how everyone just forgot about old Master Raoul? Master Raoul.
I didn't.
Are you saying that weird on purpose?
Rahul? Is that who you mean? Rahul.
Do you mean
What
Rahul?
am I saying?
Raoul.
No,
Rahul.
Rahul.
Yeah, no, you said Raoul. It's Rahul. Please, Matt, you're a lawhead. Sort it out.
Well, okay.
Oh, this is just
now
Kaber and Kabir all over again.
saying what way? Saying
Raoul.
Fuck.
Raoul. Sounds like some from Street Fighter. What even is this podcast? Oh dear. Right. Anyway, sorry. I digress.
It's not going to matter because another cryptarch was introduced called Master Reinhardt. We don't know much, but the other thing to note is Rahul is an academic. He is actually he actually references some of his work in his description. Rahul et al. Is actually in his thing, which perfectly matches his tone. Like that's the kind of dude he is. I don't think I want to reveal this, but if you let me ask this question at chat because maybe it's obvious. Okay, maybe it's obvious. Do you guys know how the hive got frozen?
Oh God! Going back to that law chat, I've seen Kex put forth one perspective of it and Anon with a completely different perspective.
Okay, I skipped that. What were their perspectives on how the hive got frozen?
I think one basically it's that the hive put themselves there to like gestate or keep themselves safe or whatever to build up their strength. And the other is that Rasputin's done some kind of weaponry to freeze them there to keep them there until he can deal with them or something. I don't know. I'm paraphrasing people far smarter than me. So if any of you are listening, I'm sorry. I'm just, there's like 400 messages and I didn't even read them all properly. And now I am reciting shit. So Matt, you tell us.
I don't know if I want to tell people. This is the part of the puzzle piece. I think if you read the Cryptarch web lore and then you read the comic book immediately after, I think the answer is very obvious.
Why don't you just tell us if it's so obvious?
You've got to remember. You've got to speak.
Because how am I
going to... I only run a fucking lore channel. The answer is obvious.
The answer is obvious. You're speaking to a former soldier and a fucking metallurgist. Come on, put it in layman's terms.
So, okay. This is what it says in the Cryptarch one. So they're talking about the Traveler has the ability to terraform planets, and when it arrived to Mars, it terraformed Mars. And when it left, Raoul is commenting on there being dramatic climatic changes, particularly in regards to dropping the temperature at the poles of Mars, causing freezing and massive ice sheets, etc. So he says, why would this happen? Our only source is J54987F122S, which I think was a warsat that fell down and had data on it. And if it is to be believed, an invasion of unknown biological entities, including one of massive size, was detected in the region immediately before the event. Could this have been a collapse-era attack with a weapon of unknown origin? So a massive size was detected in the region immediately before the event, and then a collapse-era attack with a weapon unknown. If you then go over into the webcomic, and I didn't actually write the quote. Punchline ruined. Hold on, guys. I didn't write.
Just while you're searching for the quote, something that happened in the comic. Warsat's coming down. I've seen some people ask the question of, are the warsats random falling randomly, or is Rasputin bringing them down? Is he bringing them down on top of people? Reference the Grimoire card for the anomaly of the Titan that punched the anomaly and then had a warsat brought down on top of their head. I can't remember the name of the Titan now, but does he have direct control of these? Is he bringing them down on top of people?
That's what I don't think we're meant to know yet. I think that feeds into the whole part of, is Rasputin good? Is Rasputin bad? I feel like they will reveal why those warsats are coming down and melting. I think that will be part of the plot line. I think
Rasputin is a grey area. Rasputin is a grey area. He does things that benefit him.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, for me anyway. Reading that. Sorry, Matt. Have you got your card up and you want to finish it off, or?
Yeah, I've got it.
Right,
Yeah, okay. Then Anna Bray in the Warmind comic book, second page, bottom panel, is talking to Carmen, who appears to be like her sidekick, basically. And Carmen says, "You know, I don't like." Oh crap! Hold on, I've got to bring it up where I can see it a bit better. You know, I don't like conjecture, but the sheer power it would take to not only undo the work of the traveler. So this is referring to the traveler leaving and something changing the planet, because the traveler terraformed the planet in the first place, something changing it again when the traveler left, but also create a polar sheet of this scale is limited to a very few things in the system, and only one of them has a connection to Clovis Bray. And then Anna says, Rasputin the Warmind. You always did know just what to say. So that is obviously hinting that Anna Bray and Carmen suspect that the Warmind Rasputin froze the hive, and if you combine that suspicion with the web law, which is basically Raul, who is more... Now I can't say it right. Fuck you guys. And then
Raul.
Hool. Like hula hoop.
Say Ra.
Ra.
Say Hool.
Hool.
Say Rahul.
Raul.
God, just fucking get on with it.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh.
If you combine those two things together, and the cool thing is, this is going back to like piecing the puzzles of things together in the lore, is like, you've got suspicion from Anna Bray and her friend. Like, that's only their theory. That's what they think is going to happen. That's what we're going to find out, hopefully, in the DLC. And then you've got, you know, another character, another Cryptarch character, who is giving you information from Warsats and is putting things together too. So I think it's going in that direction. Anyway.
I think
so. 1 million deaths is
After
not
hearing
enough. So
that.
that's... Whew. Okay, we are we've done 3 more. I think we've got 3 more left. No, 2 more left. Okay. Zavala basically addresses why the traveler hasn't spoken. Says, well, it's weird that it hasn't spoken to anyone yet, which is nice to know. And then he says, or maybe no one can listen, RIP the speaker. Then he finds records from the speaker, and they were the Cryptarchs couldn't have access to them. And he basically reinforces Saladin's views on Rasputin, that Rasputin's evolved to much more than a machine, and that Saladin locked away a lot of this information with the Siva files. He's pulled those files back up, and he's talking about Rasputin again. And for some reason, Cade 6 is filling the prison of elders. Cade 6 is putting people in the prison of elders. Last card was a Rasputin card, which we had the beginning of, which was dropped in chat. Was it just last week? It feels like
it was. It feels like so long ago. It does.
So long. So the beginning of that web lore was posted in the chat last week, and that is actually something that I need to decipher more. Rasputin cards are very hard to interpret because you've got to read them all sort of together as a collective to work out what things are protocols and what things mean what. So I need to go back and have a little bit more time, but I think the answer lies there. I put in my notes here, capitals, need more time to read, ? Rasputin unfreezing hive, ? Or trying to prevent the unfreezing, ? Or trying to use guardians to defeat the hive, ? I'm not too sure yet. They're all possible theories. And Charlemagne is mentioned again. Boom. That's a lot of shit. There's a lot of stuff in the way.
It is. It is a ton. And like, do you like, from the outside looking in, Matt, like from a dude who makes lore videos, right? Do you think the web lore is the way to go, or is that enough for a dude like you to be really making the grimoire, well, more effectively grimoire-based lore videos you were making before, or what are you looking at? Like,
I think it suits content creators, but doesn't suit the general community. I think web lore is the same issue as the grimoire cards have. Is it's only it's quite inaccessible. I think there needs to be the combination of a collectible in game that entices people to want to read more of the lore. Obviously, I love it because it fits my niche perfectly. People are too lazy to go read stuff. I literally read it to them. Dollar YouTube revenue, right? So it's, you know,
it's that easy, kids. Go and make your own YouTube channel.
At least he's honest,
right? So you know, I don't think it addresses the issue of accessibility, but I think it addresses the issue of depth. I think already we have like 2 or 3 cryptarchs named that we've never heard before. We have 2 new characters named. One is working very closely with Anna Bray, you know, so it is starting to expand the universe again rather than minimizing it and shrinking it. So, and I think this kind of stuff is perfect for like hype generation. It's like an ARG. It's like we had with Owl Sector. I like web lore to introduce DLC, but I don't think it's something that continue. Like obviously I want it to continue, but I feel like there'll be a bunch of players that won't read it. And I think the way to get them is to give them collectibles and to make sure that they can access it in game.
Epic.
Speaking of collectibles, they in the developer notes for the Warmind, not the exotic weapons, but the developer notes for the Warmind, they actually did talk about collectibles, scannables, all that sort of thing.
Oh yes, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that was in one of the developer insider videos.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the impression that there would be an unlockable with the scannables. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but they said it.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. I actually wrote it down because I was like, that's an interesting way to talk about scannables. Let me just have a quick look. You guys, that's all I had on the web board. The next thing is the comic book. So why don't you share with us what you guys thought of the comic?
Oh my god!
Oh dear Lord.
Okay, so if you haven't read the comic book, guys, basically the general consensus is Anna Bray is on Mars. She's going through, slaying through some cabal. Then one soul warhound left, one soul shark doggo looking thing left, and she
loses the light because
loses her light because the traveler got the leech on it and all that sort of thing, and the doggo bites down on her arm and she's like, oh god, I don't like the ghost is like, I don't know how you're going to survive, Anna, blah 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 blah. Like I'm paraphrasing and taking artistic license here, but it's
god no, like seriously, just if you haven't yet read it, stop whatever. If you're listening to this, if you're in the stream, go right now and read it, because we will ruin it for you by talking about it after this clap. Good. Right.
Go.
Let's go.
The great thing is it puts a timestamp on when it happened, because we see her lose her light. So we know that this is occurring in parallel to the events of the Red War, which is interesting because I wonder where we, the player, will enter into this DLC. I assume it's post Red War. So, we're going to discover Anna Bray and she's already done all this stuff. I don't know. It's interesting they put a timestamp on it. I like that. But it'll be interesting to see what we actually see in game. Basically, Anna Bray is tracking down this area because she, like all Guardians, woke without a memory, and she had a name badge on, which was Anastasia Bray, and with the facility Clovis Bray. So she's trying to discover her path, discover her past, discover what was up with Clovis Bray, and so she's on this adventure to Mars and the polar caps. And in the meantime, she lost her light whilst doing that. That's sort of the basic premise of the comic book. So to go back to that quote, they said lore is attached to all these discoverables. So obviously, if you just scan something and you get lore, that's how lore can be attached. But I just thought it sounded like there was more, like lore attached to all these discoverables. Like that just reminds me of collectibles with Grimoire cards. So I'm interested to see if they have more stuff to the scannables, because I think the scannables are difficult to understand and difficult to collect and difficult to read the lore for.
I'm just hoping that there's some form of system. I think that's all anyone's hoping for. And if there was a codex of it, you could go back through and play them at will, and once you'd unlock them once. I think that's all we're asking for. But yeah, Jesus, what a massive episode.
It's been a while since we've talked for 2 hours, hasn't it?
I know, and you know what? It's good. I mean, as much as we, it's the middle of the day here, and it takes us away from the other things that we could be doing. It is just so good to be able to sit here and talk like this. And honestly, we could probably do another hour. We just wanted to start getting into our speculation territory and all that sort of stuff. But I think we might, we might just leave that. Hey, we might leave that for another week.
Yeah.
And if anyone's got any really pressing questions, please chuck them in the chat urgently. But we'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll wrap up the episode there. But dudes, before we meet again, before we cast again, at least there will be Warmind. We'll be out in the wild and we'll be playing it. So.
I won't be here next week. Next week, so
we'll find someone to fill in the lore head perspective. We'll find someone to be ambassador, right? Or you can find someone if you like.
Well, because I may, depending on how big this download is and depending on what data I have overseas, I may or may not have played the Warmind until a week after release, which will be fine. Relax, Marlon. Relax. You can get through it.
Bring in Danny.
Danny's like, what is the worm god?
All Danny will do is talk about Harry Potter. That's all she'll do.
It'll be me and Danny talk about Harry Potter, and Sloth sits there like the filthy muggle that he is. And
oh, go and suck on a railroad spike, you fuckwit.
All right, what are we most excited about? Right now, what are you most excited about Warmind?
I'm going to betray the lore community. I am friggin' excited about grinding and coordinating Escalation Protocol. I am excited to see that challenge, and I've played it already, so I know what it's like. I'm excited to have the feeling like, sorry, Danny, we can't hang out tonight. I really need to get online and get these levels up. I need to do stuff. And it's been so long since I've needed the feeling of I need to do this in Destiny.
Next minute, Matt's fucking 50 hours into Destiny. The Lost and Found has written him off as missing. Danny's fucked off somewhere. He's just like, Destiny is the destiny.
The negatives are I lost my house and Danny, but the positives are really enjoying Destiny again.
Oh man!
Please don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Please value your loved ones.
Yes. Balance is important.
I'm excited for the lore. I'm excited for the lore. I really am.
The story of the
Warmind and the Hive lore is the most interesting part of the game.
Seeing the Worm God.
Was it supposedly being a Worm God anyway?
Seeing the boss. Whatever this boss battle is, seeing that boss.
Yep. You know what? You want to know what I'm going to give two answers because I can't choose. The first one is the new PvP playlist setup and the ranks and all of that sort of stuff. I'm just, to be able to go in, spend a night just playing Crucible and get stuff, know that I'm going to be getting these level rewards and stuff out of it is amazing. And the other thing is, Tractor Cannon Bump Fest 2018.
Yes.
I'm wholly and solely on board with that.
Just right quick over the coming months, Bungie, please, SRL.
Okay, if you want SRL, I want SRL with a tractor cannon in one hand that you can push people off like Road Rash.
Yes,
oh my lord! Yes, please.
Give me.
Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. I'm going to spend my afternoon imagining it after this. I can promise you that. All right, we're going to piss off. We're going to piss off. It's been an absolute pleasure, dudes. Matt, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Slothy, I'll see you about this time next week. Actually, I'll probably see you tonight. But anyway, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for tuning in. And if you are new here, we forgot to do this off the top. There's been a whole heap of new people come in and embrace the podcast for what it is over the last few weeks. It has been an absolute pleasure getting to, read your comments on YouTube and stuff like that. So if you've got something you want to say and you're watching this after the fact, hit us on Twitter, hit us in the comments. I'll read them all. It's cool. So don't say anything too mean or I might just bite you. But beyond that, Matt, have you got anything you want to say, Sloth?
Honestly, guys, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Please at us. Yeah. The links are in the chat there. Please at us on Twitter, whether it's at the DDU or whether it's at at our personal channels. Hit up our streams. Let us know what you guys think. I personally will be streaming this for a lot of the time this week. Matt, obviously, he's away, unfortunately. Log, I don't know how busy you are at work, but hopefully we can get in some games and all that sort of thing.
I'm getting pumped, but I don't need sleep anyway. It's for wussies.
So please stop by. Please at us. Please tell us about it. Please tell us your thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. Please let us know in the comments below. Right. If you do like the podcast, hit us up. Hit us up on Twitch. If you can't watch it live, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube as well. Daily content, for the most part, weekly content in regards to talking about Destiny. So jump on. Pluggo.
Shameless self-plug, an hour and 45 minutes into our own show. Good job! Effective marketing! Matt, safe travels, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, safe travel.
Yeah.
Fucking globetrotter.
I'm going to be sitting in this conference thinking about Destiny, watching my phone light up with people sending me worm god images, story things, and I just backseat looking at all the excitement and the drops and the lore tabs and going, why am I here?
It's just like, you got any more of that worm god lore? You got any more of it?
Yeah. You got any more of it?
God damn you, okay. Tertiary education.
Except me. Don't at me. I won't get to play until I get back, maybe. God damn it. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for joining us.
Mm-hmm. That was really heartfelt. Bye!
Goodbye.
Bye. The law found us. We don't need to do that anymore. Goodbye.